Hey everyone, don't forget to push that like button on the video because it does help out the channel quite a bit. And if you are new here to Geekdom 101, hit that subscribe button and enable all notifications so that you get all my content delivered to you right when it comes out. I thank you for 6 years of support and hopefully many more to come. Chapter 68 of the Dragon Ball Super manga continues the Granolah the Survivor arc and brings us some pretty interesting and pleasant surprises when it comes to expanding Universe 7. Personally, I would have preferred if the next arc after Moro would have expanded the story into another universe like Universe 6 or Universe 11 or something different. But when it comes to Universe 7, they really are trying to make it a bit more important than previously thought, or at least more interesting. Chapter 68 introduces a plethora of new characters that I'm sure are going to become players in this arc, but also expands the lore of certain things when it comes to the deities that we did not previously know, although we did guess it. For example, a big chunk of this chapter is Goku in Ultra Instinct with the silver hair fighting Whis. And I really enjoyed the fight scenes with Goku and Whis because it shows that even though Goku has shown mastery of Ultra Instinct with the silver hair, he still has a long way to go before he catches up to Whis or any of the other top tier angels, and certainly the Grand Priest, as Beerus himself stated in this manga chapter. But what I found really interesting, that again, we kind of guessed this, but now we know for certain, is that the angels, like Whis for instance, are in the state of Ultra Instinct at all times. That is very interesting to me and very fascinating to me because we already knew they were super strong. But this is a different level now. And Goku, even though he knows how to trigger Ultra Instinct and go into it whenever he wants, he can transform into it at will, it's not the same as just having it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, like the angels do. So this chapter pretty much establishes that Goku can still get stronger even within Ultra Instinct. Now, does that mean that he's going to eventually get to Whis' level? I certainly hope not, because it seems like a bit too much, but Goku sort of, I guess, improving his Ultra Instinct is kind of going to be his new goal going forward when it comes to training himself to become a better fighter. Now, when it comes to Vegeta, much like what he said for the past 2 arcs, he wants to do something on his own. He does not want to achieve Ultra Instinct. He wants to use a different power. And in this chapter, we find out from Beerus himself that there are other powers, other abilities that the gods know, not just Ultra Instinct. So it's almost like it's hinting that there could be a different transformation or a different technique or a different state of being for Vegeta that will put him either at UI level or just at least a lot higher than where he's at right now, beyond just Master Blue or Blue Evolution or any version of Super Saiyan Blue. So to me, I feel like they're doing this to kind of establish that Vegeta will be going on his own in this arc and will be learning things that Goku is not going to learn, similar to what they did with Yardrat in the previous arc. And hopefully Vegeta will figure something out to catch up to Goku or at least get close. But if I'm being honest with you, it does seem like this is being pulled out of left field. There haven't been any hints to this whatsoever. For several arcs, we have been pretty much brainwashed to know that Ultra Instinct is the ultimate power, and for there to be something else that the gods know that's either close to it in power or at least, on the same level, in the same ballpark, that is a little bit contrived, honestly. It's something that I feel like should have been foreshadowed better, but even Beerus himself says that he does not train other people. So Vegeta will have to figure out a different way to learn these new techniques, whether it be by following Beerus or by some other method. I don't know, but I could see a Beerus Vegeta, I guess, team or whatever kind of being comedic when you think about it, and maybe a lot of fun to read. But when it comes to the side characters, there's nothing for them here. I mean, Dragon Ball Super is the Goku and Vegeta show. That's pretty much what it is now. And when it comes to training and these guys getting stronger and whatnot, it's going to be about Goku and Vegeta. And this chapter kind of continues that tradition. I see nothing for anybody else right now. And hopefully that will change, but that's all that I see. But that's only one part of this chapter. Really, the main story of this chapter is Granolah's backstory and his, I guess, new mission. So we find out in this chapter that Granolah was a member of the cereal race, and at one time the Saiyans, when they were in their grade 8 forms working for Frieza, attacked his planet and killed his loved ones, presumably. And because of that, he wants revenge on not really the Saiyans, more so Frieza, it seems like. And by the end of this chapter, Granolah is determined to hunt Frieza down. Now, when it comes to the deities' sort of revelations or whatever, I forgot to mention, or I should mention, that the Oracle Fish has this ability to where if something bad's going to happen, or there's a bad feeling going on, the Oracle Fish can kind of sense it. And that's kind of the big cliffhanger here. And I feel like it may have to do with Granolah or perhaps another one of the new characters that was introduced in this manga chapter. One thing I loved about this chapter, legitimately loved about this chapter, is that when they expand out the Dragon Ball universe, whatever, like the Universe 7, and show us all these new characters and new worlds, it's showing us like the underbelly of Dragon Ball and like the gangsters and these sort of bounty hunter type of things. It's not quite like Star Wars, but I see parallels here where we're seeing like these previously unknown or unheard about characters, and they all have schemes, and they all seem to be in it for themselves. Granolah himself seems to be a guy who, at least for the first part of this chapter and probably for a big part of his recent life, is just in it for the money. As he meets these other new characters named Alec and Oil, and they're all part of this sort of, this sort of underground, I don't want to say cult, but more like this underground gang of thieves. It's hard to really describe what they are. They call themselves the Heaters, and they seem to be the ones that sent Granolah to go find 7-3 to deliver him to them. So when it comes to these new characters, even though I'm kind of digging like their backstory, when it comes to their designs, they really do kind of come off like, filler characters. I mean, they come off like characters that were mostly in like the DBZ movies and not really, core characters. So it'll be interesting to see what their role is going to be in this arc, because it seems to be teasing that Alec is going to harness the powers of 7-3 and make himself more powerful. But by the end of this arc, or by the end of this chapter, that is, it looks like Granolah might be the one who wants to do that to get revenge on Frieza, because Granolah finds out that Frieza is indeed alive, he's been revived or whatever, and that's his plot. He's seeking revenge on Frieza for sending the Saiyans to his planet and wiping out his people, because he knows the Saiyans are gone because he heard the story of the meteor. It wasn't that he heard that Frieza destroyed planet Vegeta. He was, of course, told that fairy tale that had been going around for years, because nobody outside of Frieza's inner circle had any clue that he was the culprit behind the destruction of planet Vegeta. Granolah is definitely somebody who seems to have a short fuse and is very hot-tempered, but even he is told to calm down by Alec, who is kind of telling him to formulate a plan before just rushing off to attack Frieza. Now, in the meantime, the Heaters are going to try to get information out of OG-73 and then to get to Zuno's place, because they want to gather some kind of knowledge, because in this manga chapter we find out that knowledge, information, and money is what makes these guys' world go round, and it's the most powerful force in the universe if you really think about it. And greed is an interesting topic touched upon here in this chapter, and I really hope that it becomes a bigger focus, because we haven't really seen much of that in Dragon Ball when you think about it. Yes, Frieza has always been greedy, but we haven't really seen sort of the non-aristocratic, I guess you could say the low income, or how can I even put this, like the lower class people scrounging and scraping to sort of fight each other to get ahead. And that seems to be kind of the picture that Toyotaro and Toriyama are painting for us here about the Heaters and Granolah, because the Heaters and Granolah don't seem to be like super close buddies here. They work together, it's a business proposition, but one could betray the other instantly, and there's not a lot of trust there. There's not a lot of friendship there, and I do kind of like that they're already setting the seeds for that later. So it seems like although the Heaters want information from 7-3, at some point it would only make logical sense that Granolah or somebody else harnesses 7-3's power, whatever that may be and whatever he may have in his circuits. Because Granolah himself says that at this point, he's not ready to face off with Frieza yet, and that he needs to train up a little bit and get stronger and become stronger than anybody. And that's what triggers the Oracle Fish to talk in their sleep and say that the balance of the seventh universe is shifting and changing because the strongest fighter of the universe will be born. So Granolah, being a guy who's coming off very determined, could end up being that fighter who may eventually, of course, challenge Goku and Vegeta, or maybe even the gods. Who knows at this point? But it could also be one of the heaters. So I think that Toyotaro's kind of purposely leaving it ambiguous so we can guess. Obviously, the arc is named after Granolah, but that does not really mean he's going to be the villain. He could end up being an anti-hero or somebody who is just an important figure. Because remember, the first few panels here show us Granolah getting attacked by the Saiyans and Frieza, or at least Granolah when he was younger, his civilization. So to me, that's instant babyface heat. That's instant like, okay, this guy can't be truly evil, right? He has to have a good side because he's kind of a victim of what the Saiyans did, including what appears to be Bardock. So I feel like what they're trying to tell us is that Granolah is not like Moro to where he's truly an evil guy. So if Goku's going to give somebody a Senzu, Granolah might be a safer bet than giving it to Moro. At least that's what I think they're trying to tell us here. I don't think he's going to be a straight up evil dude. However, ultimate power corrupts ultimately. So if this guy does get an extreme power higher than even Goku's Ultra Instinct, then yes, he could be a problem. But that's coming down the pipeline in later chapters. Right now, this was meant to establish more of these other characters, the heaters, Granolah's motivations and intentions, and tell us about Goku and Vegeta's journey as trainees, and it was effective, although I wish there was still some more stuff that would happen with the side characters, and I wish that the story would kind of expand to somebody else besides just Goku and Vegeta, because it really is kind of, a little bit played out, honestly, but at the same time, Granolah seems to be the centerpiece of the story, so we're probably going to get a lot more Granolah panels than we would Goku and Vegeta, at least until they meet, which is going to come eventually. What did you think about this chapter? I liked it. It wasn't my favorite one, but I did like it. It was very simple, but it was effective. It was good build-up. What'd you think? Let me know. Thank you again, as always, for supporting this channel. It means a lot to me, and take care of yourself, guys, in this crazy world. I'll talk to you soon.